Just want to welcome you guys again. Thank you, Dorte, for that. And in 2015, what we had done was Cycling for Change did our inaugural cross-country ride, and we rode from Washington State back here to Long Island. Yes, and the cyclists say their legs are still tired. And it was a fun summer. I feel like my kids really grew up that summer on that trip. But that was how things started. And the question was, why would we want to cycle and do some kind of crazy trip like that? And we just knew that people would kind of pay attention for a few seconds, kind of like right now. Everyone's kind of like, why would you want to do that? There's this evil in the world called human trafficking, and there's people who are in this terrible situation. There's an evil that's going on, and it's a public health issue of our day today. And as a community, we're able to do something about it. And that's what I love about what's happening here right now. All of you guys are here together, and we're having a successful golf outing, dinner, raffles, all this fun that we're doing. But as a community, we're coming together to say, hey, this is not okay, and we're going to do something about it. So I want to introduce Lori Cohen, who is the CEO of ECPAT USA. And Lori is our Cycling for Change ambassador this year, who we are honoring. And an ambassador is somebody that we have picked out who champions our mission and our cause of fighting human trafficking. And Lori has done so much in her time, and I just want to let her give you a chance to talk about that. She used to work at Sanctuaries for Children in Manhattan and is now leading us at ECPAT USA, and I'm happy to be working alongside with her. And I'll tell you a little bit more about ways that we're partnering, that Cycling for Change is partnering with ECPAT. But first, I just want to hand over the stage to Lori.
So in our legislative advocacy, we've been advocating for policies that ensure that children who are bought and sold for sex are being given protective services. Now, you would think that this was obvious, but until fairly recently, children who were trapped in prostitution were being arrested for prostitution and not being given services. So ECPAT USA was part of a coalition that advocated in New York State to create what were called safe harbor programs, and these programs now have been implemented across the country. So we've been very involved in ensuring that kids are protected. Unfortunately, children still continue to be arrested for related crimes, so it may not be prostitution, but there might be other crimes that their traffickers are forcing them to commit. And so we've been very involved in advocacy on this issue and saying, look, kids need services. These kids are caught, they're vulnerable, they need help. On the educational front, we've been very involved and created a Youth Against Child Trafficking program. It's called the WIAC program. And it educates children through 4 courses that we offer. And these are 4 courses that are available in schools. They're completely free of charge. The 4 courses are Understanding Child Sexual Exploitation, Healthy Relationships, both romantic and platonic, Healthy Virtual Identities, and Building Community Support. And this last piece was really important because we were educating children only to find out that in many cases, parents and caregivers didn't have the tools to understand what did trafficking look like, what was happening when their children were being recruited, and how could they make sure that their children were safe when they were online. Recently, and close to here, we've been working very closely with the Brentwood Union Free School District to develop a bilingual anti-trafficking curriculum. Unfortunately, I knew about the problem in Brentwood because in my prior life, I was a lawyer representing trafficking victims, and I knew that many of them were coming out of the Brentwood area. So we developed teacher-staff training, interactive student workshops. We were engaging with parents, guardians, and families. We helped develop a referral network, and we created a Train the Trainer module so that when our work with the school district left, this program could continue on for years.
Human sex trafficking and child sex trafficking, it's there, it's real, it's right in our backyard. As a parent, I'm appalled, I'm revolted by even hearing about the notion that this exists, but it does. So I was there when the advocacy took place on the human trafficking stuff. And I listened, and my colleagues listened to the people who were doing that advocacy. So I firmly and wholly believe in your mission, and I'm so grateful now finishing up my second year at Northwell to be working like people like Dr. Fowles. By the way, he's got a full-time job. He's got a day job, too. He happens to be a hospitalist over at Huntington Hospital and has a sterling reputation in that regard. And kudos to him and to his family. So, yeah.
Just a little girl, she often cried inside, just wishing to die. The pain, hurt, anguish, and disgust was always too much. The stress on her little chest, she would sit and dream, wishing to be in some other little girl's dress. Wearing a pretty flower dress, the things she wished to be, she reminded herself that life is not for me. Growing up in poverty, often sent to bed hungry, she could hear her mom pray, why does life have to be this way? Arguing and fights often kept her up at night. Said when you're older, you'll understand. What they didn't say was when you're older, life would be more nuts. Feeling crazy at times, sniffing on white lines, just to suppress the hurt and pain deeper inside. At an early age, drinking to get drunk always ended in rage. The anger and pain, from her eyes, it would rain. The broken little girl is now an angry, bitter teenager, wondering how she would ever get by. Had to get high just not to feel all she had kept inside of her chest. The worst part, her grandfather's touch of her breast. Drowning in community's muddy waters, the streets raised this queen, no longer a daughter, but a hustling nightlife warrior. For every man that brought her, another lesson it taught her. The feeling of less reminded her she could never be blessed. With the drugs in her veins and her eyes held shut, she wondered, would this be the last one? With every man, she went to another land, just dreaming of her Prince Charming, waiting for the caress of her hand and kiss of her cheek to wake her up from this nightmare she lived. Oh, for what she would give just to feel the love she never got as a kid.
Here's another little girl who's been countlessly failed through life, again and again. Her mother was an addict whose father tried to save everyone's world except for hers. The emotional pain and misuse always causes the abuse. She couldn't have love at home but tried to find it at school. Clothes that were dirty with cigarette holes and all, cat shit that even filled the walls. But that wasn't the worst of all. Her family was supposed to protect her, but instead, they molested her. They said they'll protect her. The only protection she found was in that white little line, masking the pain away, turning into hospital stays, and running away. The person who was finally supposed to save her trapped her worse than them all. In that yellow room where all she saw was a blurry hue. Now that was a horrific view. All her family looked the other way and said, oh, she just took on her mother's ways. But she wasn't her mother. She was just a failed little girl, which countless men forcibly continued to take that innocence away. As much as she begged them to stop, at this point, she just wanted to drop. Drop away from all the pain and take it all away. You have no idea what she would give to just feel the love she never got as a kid.
Another little girl from around the way. She's 10 years old and her soul is in pain. She's asking God, will I ever be whole again? Innocence is gone. There's no more pretend. Can't play, can't feel. Nightmares wake her up from the only peace she has at night. She wants to give up. She's not interested in trying to fight. A broken and bruised corpse of a girl still breathing slips into the darkness. No more gold stars or achievements. She gets older and too much for her parents to keep, so she escapes in the night and she meets a new beast. And he promises her a life full of luxury and love, but that love is for sale. Exploitation is the tale. But since she feels protected, she's ready for what this life entails. Until she's beaten and bruised, a missing child that should be on the news. Every night walking shady streets and predators lurking just to purchase a piece of her soul. Been in the streets so long, it's taken its toll. If you've never been through it, it's twisted and sick. For what she would give just to feel the love she never had as a kid.
haven't you found me yet? I hold you so proudly. Traumas, they surround me. I wish you'd just love me back. Say you're here, but I don't feel it. Give me peace, but then you steal it. Watch them laugh at all my secrets. Scream and yell, but I feel speechless. Ask for help, you call it weakness. Lied and promised me my freedom. Grab my hand, I'm drowning. I feel my heart pounding. Why haven't you found me yet? I hold you so proudly. Traumas, they surround me. I wish you'd just love me back. Grab my hand, I'm drowning. I feel my heart pounding. Why haven't you found me yet?
Thank you. Well, it's my privilege tonight to be able to hand a check from Cycling for Change to Laura Mullen. And Laura, come, thank you. Come. You're with the Empowerment Collaborative and with the Survivor Advisory Board. Tell us a little bit about your mission as being a recipient of this. What briefly are you, what's the mission of your organization?
Right, so us at the Survivor Advisory Board, our mission is to raise awareness. We've been in Albany fighting for legislation, and not only that, but we've worked closely with ECPACT USA, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I usually don't get tongue twisted, but I just got tongue twisted. ECPACT USA writing their curriculums and stuff, and a lot of stuff that Lori had spoken about on the Survivor Council. But our goal really is to let these girls know that, and guys, that it doesn't last forever, that there is a life after trafficking, and we advise so more survive.
Great. Well, here's the best part of the night. I'm pleased to hand you this check from Cycling for Change. It's for $5,000 to help empower what you're doing, so please continue doing it. God bless you.
And can I just say thank you to Dr. P? I'm going to say Dr. P because I can't say either of his names correctly. So we're going to say Dr. P. And thank you to Cycling for Change. Really, the SAB is fairly new, and this is our first check that will be allocated how we see fit. So, and it's really important to us because we know firsthand what these girls need and want. So I just want to say thank you so, so much.
So tomorrow, and the next day, and the next morning, and Wednesday, Thursday night, and Friday night, just think about the fact that little gifts are being handed out to young people who are trying to be free, and just be thankful that you've been a part of offering that help. God bless all of you.